Welcome back to the garage. Today I have another installment of a series I'm probably just going to start calling Why? Because this one's not going to make sense. In front of me is a Dana 25 front axle off a Willys Jeep. And that's about all I know about it. The pair of axles were given to me by a guy who was given the axles as a set of spares for his M38 by his neighbor who was clearing out a property and moving. So these just kind of sat around outside or in a shed for who knows how long. And if the condition of the Dana 41 is any indicator of what this one's gonna be like, about the only thing that's salvageable on this is gonna be the carrier and the axle housing. If this olive drive remnant here is to be believed, it's possible that this thing might have had a military origin, though I kind of doubt that. But we'll see as we start tearing it down and getting into it. So if it's a complete basket case, why am I even bothering? Might be fun, might learn something. So let's take a look at this thing and begin to tear it down a little bit. I'm hoping that this one will be a lot shorter than the Dana 41 series was. That one kind of just went on forever. But I learned a lot from that axle, hoping I can apply it here. This one's got some neat Sears hubs. This one moves pretty nice and easy. This one moves, just not nearly as easy. But those are going to be probably fun to try to tear down and clean up if they are even restorable. I hope they are. And if this one's anything like the other one was, you know, it's completely locked up, so I'm sure the bearings are just solid from sitting outside. Bunch of caked on mud and dirt to get knocked off, but it might be fun. We'll see. And I don't know if the tie rods are supposed to be bent like that. I get a feeling that it's not. So that's probably going to be replaced completely. But yeah. Let's see about tearing into this thing and seeing how bad it is. Initial teardowns going about exactly what you'd expect. Brake lines are junk. Half of them are just snapping anyways, so nothing worth saving there. Bolts are already snapping because of rust. Heat and penetrating oil did not help, unfortunately. The tie rods are actually possibly coming off. Oh, hey, it moved. And even, well, that'll be an adventure, but it's about what I expected. If I recall correctly, these Sears hubs are just a rebranded Selectro, kind of like the later mile markers were. So if you remove the 3 lower screws, that allows the cap to come off, and then the whole thing is able to come out. But don't take the top ones off just yet, because that is what retains the inside part of the hub. Yep, that's gross. At this point, it's Schrodinger's bearings. You know they're toast, but are they really until you look at them? If you're ever in Arkansas, you might try one of these. It's a Flyway Brewing. It's a local brewery. It's called Blue Wing. It's a blueberry wheat. It's good. And those are not good. This grease is so burned and nasty. Well, that's kind of sad, actually. These things had so much life left on these brake shoes, and then they sat outside for who knows how long. And now all the rivets are rusted and a couple of them are missing. Real shame. These are the old school, probably asbestos ones, so these would have been great. Some way, somehow, dirt daubers always manage to get in. It's ridiculous. Yeah, these are toast. Well, the spindle doesn't actually look too terrible. Yeah, some marks on there like it might have been spinning a bearing. We'll clean that up and we'll see how it goes. Now, what do we have for axle shafts? These are spicers. And we have a ton of mud, rust, and water in there, as well as some grease, I guess. Gross. After soaking in some gas, the bearings tell a little bit of the tale. The outer one doesn't look so terrible, honestly. Timken 18590, US made, pretty old. Rollers are in pretty decent shape. The inner one, though, is also a Timken, but the inner surface is kind of polished and worn. And there's a heat mark on here, some temperature discoloration. So it's like the inner one was spinning, which explains some of the damage I was seeing, some of the marks on that spindle. Might have to replace that. We'll see. I've never actually torn one of these down, and that went a lot quicker and easier than I thought it would given the condition. And these are so much smaller. Like, you see pictures of them, but man, when you actually have them in front of you, they're tiny. Gotta get these bearings out. They're remarkably okay looking from where I'm at. And this felt seal is so destroyed, but this axle shaft should just come right out. Yeah, what a mess. I have to get that cleaned up. And then it's second verse, same as the first. A whole lot smellier and not a lot worse. I am Henry VIII. Yeah, the kingpins on this really aren't all that bad looking, but the bearings are pretty well shot. One of them disintegrated, and that pile of grease is the only thing holding that other one together. So, yeah, wasn't gonna reuse them anyway, but damn. And now, to the part that most of us are waiting for. Of course, there's always one that has to be stubborn. All right, boat anchor, what you got for me? Ugh. Can't say I'm surprised. That's not really even oil anymore. I can't tell if that's mud or rust or a combination of both. Yeah, that looks beyond redemption. I'm sure there's a mark on here somewhere to follow, but I'm not seeing it, so. That almost takes no force. Junk. Yeesh, we got a broken spider gear tooth in there. This thing was most certainly left for dead for a reason. It's probably making some clunky noises. I'm starting to get a sense that something just catastrophic happened in here, because I know it's a rough casting, but there's metal embedded all over the inside of this, just chunks. I did find some teeth and all this stuff. Yeah, it's pretty well shot. And that's probably why it was left abandoned behind a shed somewhere. Well, I think that's gonna be it for part one as far as teardown goes. It is just as bad as I thought it was gonna be, and maybe a little bit worse. All that I have left is to knock the pinion out and to get the 4 oil seals, and that's gonna be pretty much ready to do a lot of off-camera work, doing some cleanup. Got my work cut out for me on this one. Yeah. And I'm gonna have to go find another diff cover, because this one has a couple extra vent holes in it, just like the one for the Dana 41 did. So I'll probably be cleaning that up and hanging it up on the wall so I have a matched set. If you like watching me do silly things that make no damn sense, leave me a like, leave me a comment, point and laugh. If you're not subscribed, maybe consider subscribing, because this one is going to be a journey. I'm gonna learn a lot of good lessons, probably about money. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye for now.